when you learn, teach, and when you get, give. Welcome to Conversations with Verdel Jones. I'm your host, Verdel Jones. And being an educator at heart, I'm dedicated to sharing conversations that inform and enlighten in the hopes that you learn something you may not have known. And remember, in the words of Maya Angelou, when you learn, teach, and when you get, give. I am so excited to be coming to you today because we have a great show planned for you. We have a lot of things going on, and I'm just excited about Conversations with Verdel Jones and all the great guests that we're going to be having on the show. I also want to make sure I give a shout out to Strong Island Television. So if you're watching this video, please make sure you share it so everybody else can check out the show. So again, we're happy to be here. There's a couple things I wanted to let you know what's going on. We have, like I said, a lot going on, not only with Conversations with Verdel Jones, but with Deli Teach as well. So we're having our the Write, Rhyme, and Recite Collective. Back in June, we had an awesome event. We gave away $3,250 to graduating seniors at our Poetry Slam contest. So I want you guys to save the date because we're doing it again. It'll be June 9th, 2019. So make sure you tune in for that. We're looking for seniors to compete in the Poetry Slam scholarship. So we'll be sending out applications probably around January or so, the beginning of the year. So just make sure you're on the lookout for that. We also would like authors to participate. Last time we had authors participating in our Write, Rhyme, and Recite Collective. So we're looking for any authors that might be interested in selling their book and presenting their book as well. And we're also looking for sponsors, any sponsors that may be interested in helping to support the event and the scholarships for the students. My contact information is available. You can go to deliteach.com. Another thing that I wanted to mention to everybody is, you can be part of Conversations with Verdel Jones. We are selling mugs for the show. So, we're excited about that. So if you are interested in getting a Conversations with Verdel Jones mugs, we can show that picture so everybody can see what they look like. I mean, you may have seen them on the show, but be a part of the conversation, and you can go to verdeljones.com to order your mugs, or you can also go to deliteach.com to do that as well. So pick up your mug and be a part of the show. All right. So I also want to thank, we have some special sponsors, and really sponsors are what help to keep the show going. So I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. We have Nancy Vargas Johnson. You guys are familiar with Nancy Vargas Johnson. She is a real estate agent and associate broker. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, she is the person that you need to be in contact with. We also have Bri V Jiu-Jitsu System as one of our sponsors as well, and the contact information is there. And in a few minutes, we are going to talk to John Darby, who is the CEO of Bri V Jiu-Jitsu System. So we're excited about that. And we also have Darby Home Healthcare, and their contact information is there. They're going to be coming to the show, our next show, so on the November 15th. So we're excited about that. I just want to, again, just give a shout out to our sponsors. We're very thankful that we have people who believe in what we're doing and getting the word out. So we're very excited about that. Couple more things before we bring on our guests. We're looking for educators that are making a difference. We're going to have an educator spotlight. So if you know any educators that are out there doing great things for our children or even adults, it doesn't have to be necessarily an educator within the school system, but anybody who is really dedicated to sharing, just like I am, sharing information with people in the hopes that they learn something they may not have known, we want to hear about it. So if you know any educators out there, we would love to spotlight what they're doing in our community. So you can always contact me about that. You can also put a comment. So you can put a comment in the, as you're watching the Facebook Live, you can put a comment in the comment section and maybe tag somebody that is doing, some great things in our community. And the last thing I wanted to talk about before we take a break, We wrapped up our Women in Politics series the last time. We had Taylor Renor on, who's running for Assembly in the 18th District. We also had Luba Gretchen Shirley on, who is running for Congress in the 2nd District against Peter King. So we were excited to have those women in politics here in studio. We got a really, really good opportunity to chat with them and find out what their platforms are. So I just want to remind everybody that you need to go vote November 6th. Polls open at 6 a.m. and they close at 9 p.m. in New York. So if you, if you're anywhere, if you're watching anywhere, I know there's some early voting. I had a lot of friends in Georgia. They said they did the early voting. If you have the opportunity to do that, do that. But make sure whatever you do, don't let November 6th pass without casting your vote, and be up on what's going on, their platforms and what these people are running for and what they're about and how they're going to help our community. Local elections are just as important as our national elections. So for this midterm election, I hope you go out and cast your ballot for, as Oprah said today, I think she said, vote your, I don't think it was conscious, but she said, know the issues and vote what's on your heart. So that's it for that, but make sure you go vote. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to have John Darby in studio. So come back. Welcome back to Conversations with Verdel Jones. As you can see, I have a special guest here with me, Mr. John Darby. He is the CEO of Bri V Jiu-Jitsu System, and that's a nonprofit organization. It's a martial arts school, and I see here your motto is to empower youth and adults to be their very best. You're a trained black belt.
Yes.
in jiu-jitsu, and we're going to talk a little bit about that because I know something about martial arts, but I don't know about jiu-jitsu, so we're going to talk about that. So thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you in studio, and martial arts is it's for a lot of people, it's really a great focus for them.
Yes.
So I'll start off by asking you, what is jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu is also something like power oneself, but jiu-jitsu is an art that encompasses grappling, encompasses judo.
What's grappling?
Grappling is ground fighting.
Okay.
Right. Judo is throwing.
Okay.
Strikes, locks, and joints.
Okay.
So it's implementing all those in a fluid type motion.
In a fluid type motion. So how did you get started with martial arts?
Well, years ago, about 24, 25 years ago, I was dropping my son off to a program, a martial arts program, and I saw what they were doing, and I liked it. And he was a pastor that was in the arts when he was younger.
Oh, okay.
All right, and as he got into it, as he was teaching, he had an outreach program and had the martial arts a part of the outreach program.
Got it. Okay. Okay. So he was working within his community,
Right.
and then he incorporated that as part of it.
And I continued.
Right. So is it now jiu-jitsu? Is it because our son was he's a black belt in Taekwondo.
Right.
So that's Korean based. Is
Right.
jiu-jitsu
Japanese base.
okay?
And it's Taekwondo specializes in kicks.
Right. Yes.
It really specializes in kicks.
Okay.
Okay. Jiu-jitsu encompasses kicks, but they're more with close combat.
Okay, like a wrestling almost, right?
Well, wrestling, which is
Yeah,
grappling,
right.
but also from standing. Also,
Oh,
we deal
okay.
with locks and joints
Right.
to control the situation. Yes.
So, okay, so 24, 25 years ago, you got involved with it, and what kept you going with it? I mean, that's a long time.
Yeah, that's long. Well, I loved it. I mean, I love the arts. I love the arts. It's the focus.
Yeah, right.
It's the focus, and to be able to have that and have that focus, it creates the discipline.
Right.
And you want the discipline aspect, and it's not about me beating someone up or having the ability, the capable. It's the discipline and the focus not to.
Right.
And
Right.
to teach people that you're not a chump if you step away from it.
Right. And that's interesting because you would think, I know I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and I know that I can protect myself, and that people would use that as, as a negative thing.
Right.
But, and like I said, the experience I do have is with Taekwondo, it's the total opposite.
Total opposite. Yes,
It's the
it
total
is.
opposite. They'll use it if they have to.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing.
Right.
It's self-defense. It's
Right.
self-defense. I have to, you have to come at me to for me to
Right.
defend myself.
Right.
So if I can do anything to just diffuse the situation and get away from the situation,
Right.
then I won. I actually won.
Right, and that's some of the principles that you teach.
That we teach, and we start at a young age.
Right.
The youngest is 3. The oldest,
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
we encompasses like little obstacles, games and funs. But as they're going through hoops, there's a bag there. They punch. and,
Okay.
So
Make it a little
make
fun
it
for them, right,
'cause
yeah.
They're focused. They're,
And they don't focus for a long time.
Yeah. They're tired. They're on one thing at one point,
Right.
and then they're on to the next.
And they're on to the next
you
quick.
know. And the oldest is 76.
Really?
She's a black belt.
Really?
76,
Wow.
yeah.
It just amazes me. I do have a lot of respect for people in the martial arts because there is a discipline there.
Right.
So let me ask you this, because we have students, I work in a school, we have a lot of students that they might have attention, issues.
Right.
How can parents use the martial arts, jiu-jitsu, to help students that have those attention? Like, I'm sure you may get students that are like that.
Oh, yeah.
How do you help them?
We have students that have the ADHD.
Yes.
And we help them. There's, if you see the military, you see how they have to stand at
Yes.
attention
Right.
to stay focused. But we have something of the same
Same
thing.
kind of thing.
Where we have them stand at attention, and we focus on those type of skills for them to be able to move on at home and in school.
So what's the best story you could share about a student that had those kind of issues and how they were able to, because I know you have a story, how they were able to be successful in school and just, in their day-to-day life?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we had one student that had ADHD, and he was very hyper,
Right.
very active. But we use the martial arts, the punching and strike, the punching and the kicking, to his advantage, where he can use that energy.
Yeah.
Use
That's
that
what it's about.
energy, right? That energy.
Right, that energy.
For him to
That's right.
stay focused.
Yeah.
And while he was doing that, he would motivate everybody else.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
because he had a lot of energy,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
yeah.
And that's true. It gives them a release. And I talk to
Right.
parents often with students with ADHD, and they say that a lot of times they're just running around the house. They can't get that energy out,
Right.
So you see them, like with our son, he would do, Taekwondo moves like anywhere,
Right.
just to get that energy out.
That energy out there. Yes.
So what other types of services do you offer? Because I saw the flyer, you had kickboxing. So do you have other things that
Well, we have the cardio kickboxing.
Okay,
we teach,
which is nice.
we teach Shotokan.
Okay.
which is straight up karate. See that karate has that's the title, but it has many systems.
Oh, is that right? Oh,
Right.
okay.
So
Okay.
when you ask me, you do the martial arts. That's a title.
Okay.
But there's many systems under it.
Under that.
Right,
Okay.
right. So we teach jujitsu, which is broad, which is the grappling, ground fighting,
Okay.
locks, joints, throws, right? Then we teach Shotokan, which is straight up karate with the basic stances.
Okay. Right.
You know,
Right.
basic stances, and then we teach arnis, which is the Filipino stick fighting system.
Oh, okay.
So we have those that we teach at the school.
Right.
You know, and those are the services. But then we also make it affordable
Right.
for families.
So you have whole families that participate in, you know, in jujitsu and martial arts, or
Right.
yeah, okay.
Right, right. Because a lot of times the parents have 2 or 3 kids.
That's right.
And then
Make it
sometimes
affordable.
the parents jump in.
That's right, yeah. Because it is a nice family thing, you
Right.
know, to do, and I love, you know, that discipline aspect of it also. You know, people need a little discipline in
That's
their
right.
life.
That's right. And the discipline, so if I'm asking you to focus your kick, right? If I'm asking you to focus your punch, center your punch.
Right.
Because if I punch over here, your head is right here.
Right.
So you have to center the punch.
Right.
It's giving you, making you more focused on
Focused,
that.
right.
So it's also mental.
Yes.
So it'll help you focus on your work.
Right. Yeah. It
You know?
it makes a big difference. And I saw a difference
Right.
when our son participated, and it gives. I think it also gives. You know, speaking about children, it gives them confidence.
Confidence.
It really gives them confidence.
Self-respect.
Yeah.
You know, confidence. You know, and you'll see the change within 3 months.
Wow.
After they're doing it,
Yeah.
you'll see the change. You'll see the confidence. Some of them are quiet.
Right.
You know, you'll see the confidence come out, and you'll notice because all you have to do is say, "Soke." Right? If you say, "I'm gonna tell Soke," oh, let me straighten up.
And you're a soke.
Yes.
Right. And now what is a soke? Is that like the master?
Right.
Or, yeah.
It's
Okay.
it's a grandmaster, but it's
Okay.
it's an heritage of a system.
Okay.
So my teacher passed,
Yes.
and I inherited.
Got it. Okay.
I made it to 6th Dan, which is 6th degree black belt.
Wow.
You
Okay.
know, under him.
Okay.
And he passed, and then I inherited the system, which is 10th degree, because he was a 10th degree.
He was a 10th degree. Okay. So it's inhaerited.
Right.
Interesting. So you're, in other words, it's teaching you. Someone taught you, and
Right.
that's your.
So the my school is named Darby's Martial Arts.
Okay. Okay.
Right? But the system that I teach is
Oh,
Darby Jiu-Jitsu.
okay. All right. We were trying to figure. We didn't know.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay. Got it.
And his name was Bryant, so he has the
Okay.
Bry. His teacher name was V, so that's where the Bry V comes from.
Okay, got it. All right, that makes sense. Okay, so you know, we were talking earlier, you know, off camera about the attack on the synagogue in Pittsburgh that killed 11 people, wounded others, a hateful terrorist act.
Right.
You know, and this was right in a synagogue, a place of worship.
Right.
So I know that you work with clergy
Right.
on self-defense or awareness. So
Self-awareness.
what do you, because we were talking, like, what do you do in a situation, not necessarily that, but how do you protect your members, your parishioners? Exactly.
Amen.
Exactly.
Well, we have to have trained people who are trained in the arts,
Yeah.
or just trained in being observant.
Yeah, and that's a big thing.
You know, because before, you know, you wouldn't mind if a person walked through the door.
That's right.
That's what you want.
That's what you
as
want.
A church.
Exactly. Right. The church is open. Right. Exactly.
Right, but now
Yeah.
you have to check people. You have to watch people. You have to check out how they dressed. If you're coming in with a long trench coat,
Right.
something's
Something's
up. You know.
Right.
So it's just being self-aware, having self-awareness,
Right.
and then being able to diffuse the situation
Yeah.
if you have to. And in this day and age, it's a shame that we have to.
It really is.
You know,
You
in
can't
a
worship.
church.
And yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
It's just, as a matter of fact, there were two individuals in Kentucky that were killed at a Kroger
Right.
supermarket.
Right. But he tried to get in the church,
Yes,
but
he
the doors
did.
were locked.
That's right. That's
it's-
right.
See, you have
That's
to.
right.
It's like you have to lock your doors, and then people have to knock
Right.
to get in
To get
before
in.
you could just walk in
Right,
the church.
walk right in.
But you have to lock your doors today.
That's something else.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
terrible.
It really is.
It's terrible. But being aware, you know, teaching people how to diffuse situations if you have to physically,
Yeah.
you know, and you know, just staying prayerful.
Instead, right. Exactly. Yeah. So, how can people? Where are you located?
I'm
And
in
how can
Bay-
people reach out to you?
I'm in Bay Shore, right, 146 4th Avenue,
Okay.
right across the street from Toro College.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay.
Right,
Yep.
Toro College, and we are open through the week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday from 5 to 8:30, Saturdays from 9 to 1.
Okay. Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for
Yeah,
coming here today and sharing, giving us a little knowledge about jiu-jitsu and what you do and how you know, you really, you said you make it affordable for people to be able to do it as a family,
Right.
and that's important. I see you're a nonprofit, so
Right.
you know that really helps to support our community.
Right.
So I want to thank you for that.
I want to thank you for having me.
Yes, it's been a pleasure.
You know, I'm sorry about my voice.
Okay.
On the mic. Sorry about my voice.
That's all right. You sound great.
Thank
So we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about what parents need to know about vaping. Thank you so much. Welcome back to Conversations with Verdel Jones. We are so excited to have our next two guests here. We're going to be talking about what parents need to know about vaping. And this is informing you. We're informing you about what's going on in our community. So thank you very much for joining Conversations with Verdel Jones. I'm going to read a little bit of bio for you guys so everybody can kind of get a sense of, you know, who you are and the organizations that you represent. So we have Janice Talento. She is the founder of Drug Free Long Island, and Drug Free Long Island works with counseling centers, treatment centers, schools to educate parents and children to help save lives and create a drug-free Long Island. They have also partnered with LICDD on many, and we'll talk about them in 1 second, on many issues. Faith, family, education, and community are very important to Janice. She has 3 children and has been married to her high school sweetheart for 35 years. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we have also with us Lauren Navarra, and she is a New York State licensed master social worker and specializes in alcohol and substance abuse counseling. She serves as the Student Assistance Program Coordinator at Long Island Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependency. That was the LICADD. Lauren motivates students in grades K to 12 by discussing healthy coping skills and alternatives to substance use. She's passionate about helping others and is committed to spreading the mission of LICADD. That's a big acronym. Right, exactly. LICAD, right,
Yes.
okay. So, again, I want to thank you so much. I had one of my counselors went to a BOCES presentation.
Right.
Like I think it was last week or a couple weeks
2
ago,
weeks ago,
right?
yep,
2 weeks ago. And she came in and she was like, it was amazing. She really learned a lot about vaping, and and this past week there's been a lot of things going on with vaping.
Right.
So first I want you guys to kind of tell us what is vaping.
Okay. Well, I'm going to let Lauren go into the specific types of
Okay.
vaping.
Yes.
But basically what vaping is a juice. They start off with a juice,
Okay.
not marijuana or even nicotine. There's just regular juice that you can put into an e-cig or a Juul or different vaping paraphernalia, and it gets heated up by a battery. And then when you inhale it, it goes in as moisture, and then you exhale as smoke. They can smell like cotton candy. They can smell like maple syrup. So, the kids think it's fun. The parents don't think there's anything wrong with it until you tell them what chemicals are actually in that juice.
Okay.
And it is causing things like popcorn lung because the moisture gets under the lining of the lung and then makes the lung popcorn, which is like the old miners used to get.
Okay.
Back in
Interesting.
the early 30s.
That's what causes that.
Yes,
Okay.
because it's a
Okay.
moisture barrier
Right.
that gets in and doesn't have anywhere to go out.
Interesting.
So that's the basis of vaping,
Right.
and I'll let her talk about some of the paraphernalia.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So basically, with every device, you're really looking at a base, which contains the battery, the vape top, which is basically holds the liquid.
Okay.
The vape top also has an atomizer, which is basically a coil. So
Okay.
the coils are mostly created with copper, other metals, nickel, tin.
So you have the base, then you have the coil. Okay. All right.
So the first step of, the unhealthy aspect of the vaping device is the battery itself. So we're smoking a battery operated device technically that's charged through USB or
Right.
wall outlet.
Right.
The second piece of this is the coil, right? That's actually heating up the liquid. So the coil, the nanoparticles are actually being emitted into the juice, which is going into the lungs and other parts of an individual's body that are partaking these the vaping device smoking.
Right.
And then the third part of it is this
There's
very
more.
vague and absolutely this very vague, ambiguous liquid. So
right, because you said juice.
absolutely,
Well, that's what they call it.
That's what they
and
call
if you
it.
see some
Right,
of the packaging out
It
there,
looks like
it's
juice,
very
right?
enticing.
Yeah,
And
okay.
we see kids starting in 5th and 6th grade now because it almost looks like it is made for them because of the way the packaging is.
Yeah, I definitely want to make sure
Yep.
that we touch on that because the marketing of it is,
Yep.
is very interesting.
Absolutely.
So, right, we don't know what's in this juice, or we do know what's in this juice, and it can be harmful. Is that
It's harmful just in juice itself.
Right.
Never mind if you go on to harder
right?
additives, but
Exactly,
yes.
exactly. So the National Institutes of Health said 1/3 of high school seniors report using some kind of vaping device in the past year. And marijuana use among high school seniors also increased from 35.6% in 2016 to 37.1% in 2017,
And it's
according
at
to
46% so far in 2018.
wow,
Again.
according to U.S. News and World Report.
Right.
Why are we seeing, and I think this probably plays into the marketing, but why are we seeing such an increase in the vaping?
Parents think it's safe. That's the first thing. They
Right.
say, at least my kids aren't smoking cigarettes.
Wow.
And they don't realize if they do a little Juul with nicotine in it, it's 20 cigarettes. That one little Juul is equal to 20 cigarettes.
You know what? We're gonna explain the Juul
Yep.
in a minute because I really want this is like the word that I've been hearing,
Right.
but 20 cigarettes.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Parents aren't aware. Parents think it's a safe choice, and even kids think it's a
Yeah.
safe choice until they actually see the presentation. And we've had kids say to us, "Oh my gosh, that's really in the juice,"
Right.
because it's not on. The juice doesn't have any of the chemicals listed on it.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And we're seeing the perception of risk so much lower.
Right.
Yeah.
Contrary to traditional cigarettes, we know the long-term side effects
know.
of cigarettes. We know
Exactly.
the emphysema. We know the cancer. We don't have that longitudinal
Right.
research yet
Exactly.
with these vaping products because they've been out for less than 10 years roughly. So the perception of risk is much lower. I'm not
Yeah.
really sure. There's messages out there. You know, as Janice mentioned, the flavors, cotton candy, watermelon. If this was really marketed for adults, and if this was really used
would be
for
like
the
bourbon.
intended purposes, or tobacco flavored, absolutely.
Or baked potato, you know?
Right, exactly.
Absolutely.
Wow. So, you know, an interesting thing about the marketing, because I was looking at some information about, you know, how it's actually marketed. How do kids get access to, like, how is it marketed to children, basically? Like, what kind of advertising is done that makes it appealing to them? Is it just something that I don't even know how they know about it. That's I guess what I'm trying to say.
Well, there are commercials out there that make it very enticing to kids. There are ads out there. It's almost like the old cigarette ads that had that slim girl with the smoking, or you know, Marlboro Man smoking. They have the same kind of ads out there. In fact, the Jewel just actually had to change their marketing on it because they got sued. But it is very enticing to the kids, and a lot of the stores were selling it to minors. It was supposed to be 18, and now it's changed to 21.
Has it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's now 21 in Nassau County and Suffolk County, and it's part of the social host law. Marijuana is added to the social host law now too.
Oh, is that right?
So
Okay.
if you have a minor, well, first of all, it's illegal anyway. So,
Right.
But they put it in there because if marijuana, I'm going to say, unfortunately, ever gets legalized for recreational use, it's in there. So it's still a way of protecting parents or kids to say, hey, you can't make that decision just like alcohol. You can't make that decision for my child. Don't give my child marijuana in your house either just because it's legal.
Just because, right, exactly.
You know.
Right, same
So they're
thing.
getting ahead of it, you know, which is nice
A little
sometimes.
bit. Exactly.
And another thing too, all the kids have to do is go on a website, right? Google vape products. Certain websites, they just have to check a box. I am over 18. I am over 21. That's it. The shipping is extremely discreet. So some kids ask for, you know, these Visa gift cards, which typically would be a great Christmas or great birthday gift.
That's true.
And there's no way to track it. They check the box. I'm over 18.
I didn't think about that. I'm thinking, how are they going to get their parents' credit card? They don't really need it.
And it's not even that. I mean, you could. I mean, I had a mom that said, Mom, I need to buy a birthday present for so-and-so, and I'm not going to send it here because a couple of us going in on it. We're going to send it there because she comes here all the time. He bought a vape machine and sent it to his friend's house, and his friend told his mom, "Oh, I'm getting this for so-and-so's birthday." So they all play the game.
They find a way, right?
Absolutely.
They find a way.
Kids are much smarter than us.
Oh my goodness,
you know,
they are
they
smart.
know the computers. They know everything so much more than we do.
So even you know, a lot of kids watch things on YouTube. Like YouTube, so. Do they show those types of commercials on YouTube? I wonder, because that's another way that they can pop up.
I haven't seen a vape commercial on YouTube,
Yeah.
but you've seen vape commercials on regular TV.
I just haven't noticed them. I guess I really haven't noticed them. That's very interesting. And there's a vape shop on every corner.
Every corner.
You know, it's either a urgent care center or a vape shop.
And even stores that don't necessarily like advertise it explicitly.
Right, yeah.
You know, card stores,
yeah,
lottery
they're in a lot of
stores, even
places.
candy stores.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
it's running rampant.
Yeah, it really is, and the kids get their hands on it.
Yep.
So with this increased amount of vaping, it's impacting schools in a big way. What have you seen in schools as far as the impact it's had?
Well, teachers don't even realize what all the products are, and that's what we're going back to BOCES. We're bringing more back to show the teachers
That's
what
great.
all these products look like, because there's a teacher that, you know, if the flash drive drops right out of the computer, they give it back to them because they think it's a regular flash drive.
Of course, they wouldn't know, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So we need to educate the teachers more, but the administrations and all the school districts that we work with are definitely on top of it. They've changed some of their bylaws. They've changed some of their
The code of conduct.
code of conduct.
Yeah.
It is stricter now on vaping. You know, you're not allowed to vape anywhere on school premise, just like cigarettes.
Just like cigarettes.
You know, and if you get caught in school, it can be suspension.
Right.
You know, but they're getting backlash from parents too, because again, parents were saying it's only vaping.
Wow.
You know, I have to say though, between LICAT and Drug Free Long Island, we speak to roughly 40,000 students every year. We're in over 100 school districts across the island.
That's
and,
great.
You know, the number one the key to preventing substance use really is prevention. So that's what we're trying to do, just educate as many people, as many students, administrative members, community members as we can, because if they have the accurate information, hopefully that will be the key to preventing this from even starting in the first place.
And that's why I thought this topic was so important.
Absolutely.
Because parents really, I mean, my kids are older, but I don't know any really about this stuff. You know, I've seen people vaping before,
Right.
but other than that, I didn't. You know, I don't know too much about it.
Well, you know, if you were a smoker and your doctor said, okay, we're going to wean you off, we're going to put you on the e-cig.
Right. Okay.
And you're going to start at this level, and then there's a less nicotine and a less nicotine.
Right.
And there's a reason for it. Yes, then vaping could be less harmful than
Yes.
the cigarettes
It's like a
that you're
weaning.
using.
In a harm
Right.
reduction.
If you're
It's a
going to use it in a
okay.
harm reduction situation.
Right.
But if you're just picking up the nicotine,
Right
thinking
off
it's
the-
safer than smoking and never had smoked before, that's
Very
where the
different.
misconstrue
Yeah.
was, you know?
And the thing about that is because of the convenience aspect, because it's odorless, the smoke dissipates so quickly, it's actually being used and abused more than cigarettes would.
Right.
Right? If you think about the process that you'd have to go through it to smoke a regular cigarette, we'd have
You
to
can't-
go outside,
Right.
light the
Can't.
cigarette,
Right, you have to have
start
a
to
lighter,
finish.
yeah. That's
right, that's right.
I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know anyone that personally sits outside and chain smokes a pack of cigarettes in one
Right,
sitting.
they can't.
But
They have
kids
to go to
quite
work, right?
literally, absolutely. But some kids are quite literally
Yeah.
smoking it in an hour period, one pod, like we talked about, one Juul pod equivalent to 20 cigarettes. The juice, it's about this much juice.
Yeah,
Quite
they go-
literally in an
they
hour
can go right
period.
into the bathroom.
Absolutely.
You know?
In class,
In
I
cla-
mean.
right, in class.
A lot of
exactly.
schools, a lot of schools have actually put the vapor
The vaping
detectors
detectors,
in the
yes,
bathrooms
yes.
now
We have
because
those as well.
they're trying to be preventative too.
Yeah,
you
you
know,
have
they're very
to.
expensive though.
But even those are not foolproof,
They're not.
unfortunately.
They go off a lot. They go off a
Yep,
lot.
yep.
So, you know, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I really want to get into some terms parents should know. And I want to talk about this Juul, some of the terminology. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Sure.
Dropping gems from Keisha Christian. She's on a mission, sharing information, knowledge for soul, body and mind. Dropping gems, KeishaGems.com. KeishaGems.com.
Thank you for our mugs.
Oh, you. Welcome back to Conversations with Verdel Jones. So we are enlightening you, educating you on issues that matter. We were talking about vaping, and we were going over what vaping actually is. There's so many different ways that people can vape, as far as the apparatus that they're using. Let's talk a little bit about what you mentioned, the popcorn lung. What are some other health risks? Because with the vape, just, you know what, explain the what a Juul is and how that goes into the device and how that impacts, and then the health risk, you know, around that.
Why don't you start with the Juul?
Yeah, absolutely. So a Juul is just a designer brand
So it's a
name.
brand,
Yes,
right?
it's
Okay.
a brand of a vape product.
Okay.
I would say that's the most popular
Popular.
among the students. Another device that's similar is called the Bow. Basically, that's the one that looks like a flash drive. It's probably about this big.
So the Juul is the actual device.
Yes,
got
that's
it.
correct.
Okay, got it.
And then within the device, you buy pods. The pods are what contain the nicotine-based juice.
Oh, okay.
And then you can insert a pod into the Juul device, and one pod, as I mentioned, is the equivalent to about 20 cigarettes. And that's
So,
nicotine.
so how long does a pod last?
It
It
depends.
depends
right?
how often you smoke.
Yeah,
Right,
they say
yeah.
approximately 200 puffs.
Right.
So again, if somebody is mindful of how much they're smoking, that could last them a week, a couple of days.
Okay.
But again, there are young people that are misinformed or really are unaware of what
They
they're
do
doing.
it between periods.
Exactly. they will put that
Right,
device in their
right,
mouth, let's say
right.
playing a video game, watching TV, and they will literally not let it go
Right.
until the pod is finished, and they won't even realize.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
So the juice contains nicotine. All of the juices do, or some don't. Like,
There are some juices that don't contain
Okay,
nicotine, and there are some that have less nicotine than others. Like I was saying, when you gradually want
Right, okay,
to lessen
okay.
for smoking, but the kids don't even pay attention to which have nicotine
They
and
don't
which
know.
doesn't.
Right,
So
yeah, yeah.
if I want the watermelon, I'm just going to go buy watermelon.
Whatever
if it has
nicotine
nicotine in it,
has
it has
it, it's
nicotine in
fine,
it, you know,
right.
because I want the watermelon flavor.
Okay.
So, but yeah, if they're not going to use it the right way,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if you're going to learn to quit smoking, you're going to take a puff, you're going to put it down. Maybe 2 hours later, as if you're going to have another cigarette, you might go take another puff.
right.
You know, so maybe in a day you take 4 or 5 puffs to get you through the day. It's almost like the old patch or
Yes.
the nicotine gum,
Same
that
kind
kind
of
of stuff.
thing.
then it's working.
And what are some other things that, so you have the Juul, that's a term that parents really need to know about.
Right.
And then you have, are there any other terms or, terminology that students will use that parents can kind of be aware of?
Waxing.
Okay.
If you hear the waxing, that they're actually taking the wax, which is actually part of the marijuana, and they putting it into their pod.
Okay. So this is another, so you have the juice, then you can have the wax.
And you have oil too, but you have waxing too. Which,
Okay.
yes. You hear waxing, and you're like, what are you waxing your legs? What are you waxing?
Right.
So.
Yes, we have the nicotine-based vape juice, and then we also have the marijuana or THC,
THC.
wax or
Okay.
oil.
Right. Okay.
Sometimes it's a similar color. I would say, just from speaking with students, it's a little bit darker in color. It's more of a yellowish to a dark brown, and the consistency, if it's the oil, is more of a honey or molasses.
Oh, really?
But
It's
as
thicker.
Janice mentioned,
Okay.
yeah, you can also get wax, which is harder, which actually, looks like wax.
Looks like wax.
Right.
Okay. So, and then the coils, like you were saying, is what heats it to make the vape
Yep.
work,
Absolutely,
so to
yeah.
speak. So now the students, as far as the oils and the wax and all of that, this is something how do they get it? Like, is it this is illegal, I would imagine, or is it?
Marijuana is definitely legal.
Right, but there's edibles that people can have, so there's different things. So is this an illegal thing that they would get the wax and the oils?
Yes.
Coming from states where it's legal.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Coming from states where it's
Okay.
legal, or even if they're buying the apparatus and they're not 21, it's illegal for them.
Anyway,
Right.
right, exactly,
You know.
exactly. So they're getting the wax and the oil from
Another state.
a dealer or something like that, correct? Okay, all right. Just so because there's so many things that are going on with the laws, and things are kind of shifting and changing. So it's just to be aware of it's illegal because they're not 21, but
Right.
on top of that, it's something else.
It's illegal anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
right. And how much do these devices cost?
It ranges in price depending
Yeah.
upon what size you want. If you want, there's also the one that looks just like a pen. Like you could be looking like you're writing, and it looks like a pen.
Wow.
So it depends. If you want to hide your device, they can be as low as like $35, $40,
Okay,
but as high
okay.
as $100, $125, depending
Wow.
upon.
Sometimes more.
Yeah.
Some people they generally the bigger the device, the more smoke that's produced.
Okay.
And some people, it's kind of like a trend now, this like vape life trend where people get these giant mods or battery packs that you attach to the device or you attach to the mouthpiece, and you just get these billowing clouds of smoke.
Right. Oh.
So it's
Pull
almost
up next
like
to somebody in a car and just
Right.
see like the
Yeah.
whole car is filled.
Right.
And you're like, first of all, that's not safe. You can't see. But yeah, they just, and then they're re-inhaling it.
Right.
And that's the thing. And there's not enough evidence. Someone said, well, if I'm not vaping, but I'm in someone's
Yeah, we
car
were
that's
just talking
vaping,
about that, yeah.
is it unsafe for me to
Like a secondhand
re-inhale it, like
smoke
a
kind of
secondhand
thing, right.
smoke? And that we don't know because part of the and I'm not talking the marijuana one, I'm talking just the juice one. Part of the problem with, part of the juice is that you're inhaling moisture. So you're
Okay.
adding those chemicals to your lung. That's
And
really, but when the secondhand smoke's getting there, you're not. So
Okay.
we really don't know the harmful
The
effects
effects
yet
of
of the
that,
secondhand
not yet,
smoke because
right.
it hasn't been around long enough.
Exactly. And the popcorn lung, as you were explaining before, comes from the moisture that you're intaking
Yes.
from the vape,
Yes.
so to speak. Okay.
From the coil heating
From
it
the
up.
coil heating it up. It's just it's a lot. So what can parents do to kind of besides going through their child's stuff, which it's not a bad idea either. But what can they do to be more conscious and more aware of if their children are actually vaping and what they're vaping?
Well, we always say you can't start when your child is 14 talking to them. You need to start talking to them when they're in kindergarten or even nursery school.
Right.
You sit around the table with them and ask them how their day was, and you sit there and listen. You don't
Right.
go off on a separate tangent.
Right.
If you start that at an early age, when they're 12, 13, 14, they're still going to be talking to you. And
Right.
if your gut
Right.
tells you, if your gut's telling you something's not
Something's not
right,
right.
he's hanging with some different kids, he's in his room a little bit more, just check it out. You know what? I pay for the house you live in. I pay for your clothes. I pay for your cell phone. It's all free game to me.
That's right.
So, and parents have to be parents. I can't say this enough. We are not their friends. We're their
Right.
parents, and you have the right to tell them no.
Absolutely.
And and that's what we need more of.
Right.
Is parents stopping being their friends and taking
parents.
control of their children again. Yeah, absolutely.
So, what have you seen in schools? Because I know you speak to a lot of students in schools. What has been the feedback from the students? Are they receptive to what's being shared with them?
I would say generally,
Yeah.
Sometimes, we hear the little giggles, but it's like that nervous laugh
Right.
of, oh no, I just learned something that I've been doing that's really not so healthy for me.
Right.
We get some students, generally older, upperclassmen, the juniors and seniors that kind of, for lack of a better word, they kind of think that they're know-it-alls.
Oh, of course.
But in general, the kids are really great. They ask a lot of questions, and we really emphasize just being really open and inviting with them. We always let them know that if they don't feel comfortable discussing anything with us today, they can always come in, speak with Janice or I. We both, we have a 24-hour line, so we're really in the business of just like helping people anytime we can. Absolutely.
And what age do you have these talks with students? What age does it start?
We're starting 5th grade.
5th grade.
With the vaping.
Okay.
Yeah, but our scope, at least for
it's
LICAD speaking,
K-12.
we go K through 12 and
Yeah, but no, I
beyond.
meant with the vaping.
With the vaping specifically,
yeah.
we were in like 7th, 8th grade, and we moved it down to 5th, 6th
Because
grade
you're seeing
because
more.
we're seeing active use of it, and it's coming from older siblings too.
Right,
And,
right.
and even with drug use, you see your older sibling is the one who's giving it to them when they're starting at that young age. It's from an older sibling.
Wow. It's amazing. It just, there's always something that comes into play that we have to kind of shift and and try to educate ourselves.
Right.
Because the kids, sometimes they have their own language.
Right.
They often have their own language, and
Right.
we have to decipher what's going on and just being, on the ground, just
Absolutely.
knowing what's going on is so important.
We keep saying we did a great job with not drinking and driving. We did a great
Yeah.
job about
Right.
smoking is bad for you. All those campaign ads and stuff, all the posters we make about smoking being bad for you. We have to do more about the vaping, letting them know it's not an alternative. It's not a healthy or safe alternative.
Right.
There are other healthy, safe alternatives. Go eat a bag of cotton candy. If you want cotton candy, eat a bag of cotton candy. You don't need to smoke it.
Right.
And taking it a step further, just emphasizing wellness in general.
Yeah.
Substance use is a symptom of a greater problem. We
It
need
really
to
is.
address mental health. We need to have an open conversation about it.
Yeah.
1 in 3 adolescents will experience some type of mental health concern, anxiety,
Yes.
depression, mostly, before they've reached 21.
Right.
Doesn't mean that will be consistent forever, but that means that,
Something we need to be
we
aware
need
of.
to, addressing
And
wellness
we
coping
don't have enough
skills.
co-occurring places.
Co-occurring services.
Co-occurring
Right.
services,
Right.
we don't have
Right.
enough, and that's a big focus.
New York State this year, the school year, there's a mental health regulation.
Yes.
New mental health regulation. I'm going to be speaking about that on the 15th of November to administrators and things. And I think they're the first in the country to have this type of regulation,
Right.
and I think it's such a positive step, and
Absolutely.
really bringing awareness. Safety is always important when you're talking about kids and school and all of that.
Right.
But we also need to focus on the mental health
Right.
of our children.
Well, what happened was
know?
we put such a stigmatism on
Yeah.
the drug addiction and the drug disease that parents didn't know where to go because they didn't think they could go for help. And it could have been an underlying, they didn't start drugs because they felt good about themselves.
Absolutely.
So, and then the parents didn't know where to go. So then
Right.
if they went to a counselor for substance abuse, they were being treated for substance abuse but never getting to the underlying reason.
Right.
So the fact that we do have, I think it's 3 now co-occurring agencies treating both mental health and substance abuse, I think that's really...
You can't treat one without the other. I mean,
Absolutely. Right, you have to treat them
just can't.
concurrently.
Right, exactly. You just can't.
The rise in suicides is also...
It's
because,
alarming.
yes, absolutely.
It really is.
So there's so many things that you just have to start early, and you know what?
true.
Talk. And I don't care. Just keep open the conversation. And you know what? When you pick up from that party, be the listener.
Right.
You know, you don't hear as much as you used to because now they're texting a little bit more. But I used to pick up. I always picked up from the parties, and I would just sit there and listen.
And just listen, see what's going on.
Absolutely.
It's so true. I want to make sure that I leave a little bit of time for you both to share what you do with the organizations you work with and what services you provide, how people can seek you out for assistance. So whoever would like to.
You can go first.
All right.
Okay. I'm from LICAD, the Long Island Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence. We're a small nonprofit that's been helping people across the island for over 62 years.
Wow.
So, yes.
Wow.
Yes. So our primary office is in Westbury. We also have an office in Hauppauge. So we do a lot. We're mostly a referral-based agency, but we also do short-term individual and group therapy. But we have connections to treatment providers across the island as well as out of state. So we really can help anybody at any level of care that they're looking for.
Now, is there a fee to, because I'm sorry if I didn't hear that, is there a fee for your services?
So we don't take insurance, we're sliding scale,
sliding
but
scale.
we see clients free of charge so much of our time. So we never want money to be an obstacle in terms of preventing somebody from getting help by any means.
Yeah.
One thing I just want to mention as well, and our Hauppauge office is home to Thrive, Long Island's only recovery center. So we've been open for a little over a year now.
Okay, great. That's awesome.
Also free service as well. It's not
great.
like a membership thing. People can come and go as they please, and we have really great wellness services. There's
awesome.
weekly yoga, Reiki groups,
Nice.
AA and NA meetings, so really emphasizing just the whole idea of wellness, which is really
That's
great.
that mental health and it's collective, you know, and it
And
really
Thrive
is
is some place you can go and you're not judged. It's welcoming, it's supporting, and hopefully Nassau will be soon. But and then we want a recovery high school here too. We've been advocating up in Albany for a recovery high school because when kids come out of treatment,
wow, that would be
going back
great.
to their home schools
Oh my goodness,
is not a
that would
place they
be-
want to go. So
that
a
would be
recovery high
amazing.
school would be the place to send them
That would
because
be
then everybody
amazing.
is there for the same reasons. There's no judgment. There's no.
Wow.
So that's one of the things we go up actually twice a year up to Albany as
Okay.
groups and we
Right.
advocate for these things.
That would be amazing.
So, yes.
Yeah, think about it. Yeah, you're
Absolutely.
absolutely right.
Yep.
They feel, you
Yep.
know, just
Yep.
disconnected.
Yep.
You know, so that would be fabulous.
So, I'm from Drug Free Long Island. I'm the founder and president of Drug Free Long Island. We've been in the Massapequa community for 9 years. We've been throughout Long Island for the last 8 years. I met up with Jeff Reynolds when he was at LICAD, and he took us under his wings, and I've been partnering with LICAD ever since. We run their Angel Ball for them, their auction, and their golf outing auction. I partner with any agency, any coalition. We do not put up barriers. We will work with anybody in any community. We do not charge. We go anywhere for free. We do workshops on prevention, Narcan trainings, vaping, science of addiction. I'm trying to think what else I do. Bullying. I just did the bullying workshop 2 weeks ago. Any issue that you need help with, we will. If I don't do it, I will find you someone to come with me, and we will bring. We will, yes,
right.
We will. You know, I will get it done. We find the person that can help you.
Yeah, it's all about that education.
Absolutely.
You know, that education and awareness, just knowing what's going on. And I think that's such an important part of the work that you do.
Yep.
You know, in addition to helping, people, but, you know, just that education.
Yep.
We love to have, people come in that are experts in this area for professional development. Like you said, you're going back to Nassau BOCES for training for the teachers.
Yeah.
Because they need that.
They need it. Absolutely. They need it. And
That's
if
right.
anybody wants any more information on the vaping, you can reach us at info@drugfreeally.org or lnavarro@lightcad.org. So either way, or reach out to Verdel and she'll
definitely.
get you our information. But it's all about sharing. We are not proprietary to any of this information. We want to share it with everybody so you have the tools you need in your home with your kids to raise them healthy. And that's our end goal.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for sharing this information. Again, it's just so helpful. I appreciate you coming here.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
having
having
us
us.
anytime.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I want to say thank you for everybody watching Conversations with Verdel Jones, and we will see you next time.